Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So today our motion is this how work improves corruptor. So ladies and gentlemen, actually you are already know what the corruptor itself, right? So after we are watching the government and the opposition itself, I think they doesn't have like a really better solution, and we are in here. We have really better solution to make them still be human. And after watching the video, we still not find that the solution that actually still make the corruptor itself to be like a citizen and respect them as a human. And there's no, we are not found that in their videos. So that's why in here we make new mechanism. So ladies and gentlemen, our mechanism itself is still use them to be work in the government place or something like that, but there's still the limitation, and there's something that still they should pay what they steal. I mean, like the money or the power abuse itself or something like that. So actually, they still be and live as a human, as the people, like a normal people. But in our mechanism itself, there's a limitation. So for the example itself, the first one is they can use a credit card. So actually they still be like work on the government place or something like that, but they can use credit card for the something like if they're shopping, and they can use the credit card itself. And the second example is for the healthy access. So let me give you the little example. Like, what if they are going to the hospital, and you know, right, like the corruptor itself is really rich people. And actually rich people is really like to have like a really high high like some VIP room or something like that. But in here we still can punish them by they can use the hike of the VIP of the something like that in some hospital. So there is still a limitation for them. So yeah, we are here over that because we still respect they as a human, as the citizen of the Indonesia itself. So actually, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna rebuttal a little bit of the government itself. The first one is make or took their asset, not stop them to be corruptor. Actually, this is like a really not human, because like they really focus to talk to take their all asset in one time. And what about the family, like what about the children, what about the innocent people, like you know, right, in the married couple there is a wife that doesn't know where the money is come, and the husband is doesn't tell like the money is actually is from the corruptor. Like, what about the innocent people, ladies and gentlemen? Can you imagine if that is happen to you? Like, you are being the wife or someone that corruptor, but you actually don't know like your husband is corruptor. And the second is and the second is from the opening itself, they from the opening government, they like they will focus to what they steal is should be back in the our country. Like, I think that's kind of good, but they do not they do not like show the humanity for this corruptor. Like, the corruptor itself is still human, right? Like, I like just as I told I like just I told you, like what about the innocent people and something like that, ladies and gentlemen. And I hear like the government said that we are still need corruptor to prove if this wrong in this country. Like, you guys already know, right? The corruptor is really, really wrong in in this country because they stole, they steal, and or the power abuse and something like that. That actually really, really give the country is negative effect and something like that. So yeah, and then, ladies and gentlemen, the opposition said they in this country is already have jail, but you guys know jail doesn't make people like what they want to do it again after they out of jail. Like the example itself is people who really like to addict with the drugs. Like after they go after their rehabilitation after the jail, they still like need drugs because it became addiction. And we are talking about money, ladies and gentlemen. Actually the money itself is giving you a really, really big addiction to like have more and more of money. So I think that's for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, for ladies and gentlemen, and my speech is start from 3, 2, and 1. Okay, for this motion today, we want to give you any highlights of the motion that will be to be our goal for situation condition for this time. Actually, for the motion that this house will impoverize the character, we have to know about what kind of impoverize that the government will apply to the regulation in our country for this time. It's about how we can make sure that it will be very fine for them, that can be bring some new effect, or even though it is will be negative effect or positive effect, government have to considering about something that will be supported by the government as well. So before I go to my argument, the first is about how we can make the new mechanism, especially for the closing government. From me as the whip, I just want to criticize first the argument that's shown by the opening bench. From the government teams, especially, they want to make sure that the corruptor will be paid back, especially for 100%, or even though it will be more paid back to the money, just in order to increase all the financial of the government. Ladies and gentlemen, the one of the thing that I have to say to you is about how we can make sure that the government will give them more regulation that will be not to be the one of the violence, or maybe to be the one of the thing that will be difficult for the societies who are doing any corruption, especially for the corruptor. Because however, corruptor is the societies of our country that also have any right in our societies in Indonesian country at this time. So because of the thing like this, when 100% is paid by the corruptor, it directly paid in the some specific time or the in a certain time, it will be very bad, ladies and gentlemen. Because however, when we just want to impoverize in the corruptor, we have to know about their family. Because however, they also live in their family. The family cannot do something wrong. Because when the government want to blame them, you are the family of the corruptor, so you have to know, and then you have to get something that commit. It will be better than you just want to give them something like some punishment. So it will be like maybe a balance as their punishment. So it will be wrong. Because however, family don't have any wrong and family don't do that action. So it means that for the family side it will be very bad. Because however, they still have any child, son, and the generation that earn for the money. And then the second is coming from the opening team, opening opposition team, or maybe the opposition bench also give us or offer to us about the rehabilitation solution. Ladies and gentlemen, rehabilitation like what? There is no any regulation that's coming out from the opposition team, because however we still cannot find any new solution and the great solution especially for the rehabilitation, because still there is no any guarantee. The guarantee is how about we can make sure that the people when they have rehabilitation they will don't do it again. Because however there is no an example, the right example that the rehabilitation can solve the problem of the corruption. However, I take the case from the other case, especially that's happened in our country at this time, that the case is also applied with the rehabilitation like a drug and then like a terrorism. They also having any rehabilitation, but they still do that. However, rehabilitation cannot make sure that the corruptor or maybe the people or the victim they really regret or understand, or maybe they aware about their wrong or something like that. So it means that the example is cannot make sure that the rehabilitation going up to the things that will be very fine for them. Because however, rehabilitation just saying by the people when they want to make sure that the people can get a lot of knowledge, education, or something that will be very good for them to change their life. But in the real, for the corruption case, we cannot apply the rehabilitation, because however rehabilitation in the corruption will be very bad, because however the people just take the money, cheating the money. It's not about how they can having any rehabilitation, because they just aware by themselves. Okay, coming from our argument, that's why we can win in this debate, because we bring the new proposal of debate that it is going to be support our team to just win in this debate for today. The blend of the proposal debate that we offer is about the solution just for making the people, how the people is really having any right to just live in this country and having any right to be the societies of Indonesian country. Because if you just wanna underestimate or look down the corruptor, it will be very wrong, because however government still have any right. And then the one of the law of Indonesian country is about the human right or harm as well, right? So if the people just if the government just improvise and then make poor the people who do any corruption, and then they cannot do something just because of they just to be poor, and then they cannot eat, and then they cannot have any good economy for their child and their family, it will be very bad, because it's not the real solution for them. And then we bring the new mechanism that the government must have any regulation, especially is offering a credit system to pay back. Yeah, it will be very different with the mechanism that's shown or offered by a prime minister, that it is 100% pay back, but in the specific time, or maybe when the corruptor, after having a corruption case, and then the case of corruption, maybe the total of the money, how much money that they have stolen and that they have taken, they have to pay back in that period, in that specific period. But with our mechanism, new mechanism, we have to offer a credit system to pay back. What is exactly the differences? First is about how we can make sure that the people having any right, especially for the societies in Indonesian country for this time, because by the extent of the credit system, the people cannot having any poor in some specific thing, and then they are really difficult to just buy some food, to just earn their life, to just earn their child to go to school like that. So it means that we make difficult the societies in our country. So what is the impact? The impact will be very a long time. So it means that the generation of the people who have any corruption, they cannot do nothing in our country. They will be the people who underestimate and discriminate by the people. By the other people. So with our offering with the credit system to pay back, it will be very good. For example, like the people maybe when they work as the state worker, and then they are to be a teacher or something like that, but they just having any credit system. So maybe we can having any cutting from the salary. For example, like 75% of their salary must be paid back to the corruption that they have made, like that. It will be very great solution. And then especially with a lot of elimination. So like from my first speaker said, it will be I support some argument that's coming out from my first speaker said. Having any limitation, like they cannot go to abroad to just have any money, and then they do any travel access or maybe banking process. It will be very fine for them to just make sure it. So the one of the solution that's come out from me is about how we can offer a credit system, the credit system to just pay back about their corruption. So the society still has any right, and however we still cannot make them just to be the underestimate. So because of the thing like this, we are propose this motion. Thank you.